Testing 1 2 3. How's it going?
Did you know
Joe?
that in certain places, blunts are actually a form of currency?
Really? Like in the
bullshit,
Smoke Squad household?
In the Smoke Squad Republic. I got a flag and everything. Look, it's got a joint on it and shit for the Empire. Well,
the Empire.
we had some technical difficulties again, so you just heard a stop unless I'm really fire at editing and I can make it sound like it's not, but then I'll just tell you because you just heard it, so it is that what it is.
Anyway, welcome back.
You ever come across a Yeti?
Yeah, one right here. I'm talking into it.
Oh my god, dude, that is a Yeti mic. So I was watching, well, this is not a Yeti, but I mean, I don't know how else to bring it up. We were talking about Mount Everest in the beginning of the other one, or one of these things. We talked about Mount Everest. At some point, we discussed fucking Mount Everest and the multitude of bodies that have been left up there because, like, you know, it's so cold, dude. They're literally iced out.
Dude, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like,
R.I.P.
So I'll let you get back to this, but just before I forget it, like we were talking earlier, like we kind of have to have like, I'm sure a lot of people have this. It's like the God complex in your mind, you know, like you're the best at everything. I was watching that stupid ass not stupid, but like I was watching this Mount Everest video, and I was like, my stupid ass was like, well, I could probably do it.
Yeah, I can climb it.
Yeah, I was like,
I've never thought that about Everest because I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like,
thought that about like the Navy SEAL shit though. Like I could fucking do that, and then I realized that like at the end of all the shit you saw, like the narrator says, and now the ending of the first day, and I'm like, oh there it is. Okay.
Shit.
Yeah, like you want me to do this like more for like 3 weeks?
Fuck that. Me at school.
Okay.
After the first day of school.
I know, dude. I wasn't even excited for the first day. After the first period of the first day, dude, they do that half day where you just introduce yourself to all the teachers. I was spent after that shit, bro. I was like, I need a week off. Is spring break here yet? You know, is it next year? Just let me go.
Let me go. All right, back to people dying on Mount Everest.
I was just watching the Dyatlov Pass incident in detail. Like have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much background on it.
So in 1959, well, let me tell you about it then, man. So in 1959, there was this group of experienced Russian hikers. I forgot how many of them there were, like 9 or something. And the party was led by this guy named Igor Dyatlov. They were in the mountains of Russia. I don't know what they were doing, but they had a tent and stuff, and they were just hiking. They were experienced hikers. But
nine Russian hikers, sorry.
No, it's fine. The area they were in apparently was kind of treacherous and all that, but one of the guys was supposed to go with them. There was originally, I believe, 10, and one of the guys that was supposed to go with them had some kind of joint problems or like some shit. I don't know if it was arthritis or whatever.
It was one of those dudes where it was like, it's getting cold out. It's getting cold out. My knees are hurting.
Nah, but his was he was trying to push through, and he just had severe joint pain, so he was like, I had to go back. But he ended up not going. But the long story short, I'm just gonna summarize. They were in these mountains in this pass or whatever, and somehow they all died. What had happened? Some of the things they noticed were that they had cut the tent from the inside to get out. So something was in you could speculate that something was in the tent because they were trying to cut it to get out, which is their only shelter forever. So they're trying to get out of it. And they had, like, the way they died, they had a lot of like a blunt force to the chest that apparently could not have been caused by a human being. They had traces of radiation on their clothes.
What?
A couple of them had their eyes taken out, just their eyes. One of the ladies' tongues was like bitten off, and the blood in her stomach showed that she was alive still when it happened. And a lot of the people had cuts on their faces and bruises, so they were thinking a fight might have broken out between all of them. But they went through the scenarios of like why some of them were well clothed and some of them were less well clothed. And they went through the thing where, like, if you have hypothermia or whatever, you have the sensation that you're actually really hot, so you take your clothes off, which just kills you faster.
Yeah.
But that's not true because they realized that it was probably some of the ones that were better clothed were outside of the tent when they were cutting it out, whereas some people were inside, so they were possibly on watch. But
they were just prepared.
Yeah, and there's evidence that they didn't go crazy, well, not crazy, but like that too, because they were trying to survive. Like, there's evidence that the bodies were moved, and the other hikers took clothes from the already dead bodies, and there was a fire that they tried to start where two bodies were found. There was a fire trying to start, and they made a den. They were trying to survive, the survivors, you know, but what the speculation
what happened
was,
to those two? They just died of hypothermia or something?
Yeah, they died. A lot of the deaths were real hypothermia, but it's shady as fuck.
You asked me about Yetis earlier. You saying that might be a Yeti?
Well, they said that it could be something like that, but I don't believe that. They also said that it could have been somebody could have gone crazy or something, and they would have fought, you know. But it's like the person would have had to kill all of them, the blunt force to the chest. So then it got me thinking, well, what if it was a bear? Because a bear would fuck you up. But then I don't know, with the eyes removed, that's weird. But there was also a tribe there. Like they took pictures of the actual crew in 1959, like people that died, like they had found their film and shit, and they took pictures, and it showed that it was like tribal territory and stuff like that. So there was speculation that the tribe could have killed them, because that's kind of a weird maiming, right? Take the eyes out, like what the hell? It's just unsolved, but who knows? There's also thoughts that the Russians were testing a weapon on them or something, like a pulse cannon thing that could cause the radiation and the like unnatural pressure on the chest, the blunt force of the chest. They all died weirdly. It was just weird incident. I don't know what it could have been, but
when you first started saying that they cut like from the inside, I was like, did one of them start like
murdering people?
Well, not even like murdering, because like they obviously like it would be like a crew of friends, right, going doing it. So it's like, did he start like fucking hallucinating from the cold or some shit? Because I know that can happen. Like,
the reason I don't think so, what if one guy woke up?
The first person, you're all going to wake up and take over.
Yeah, you're going to start taking his ass out and holding him down. They were all trying to, I don't know what, it's just weird because it makes no sense. And then you could think it was like a bear on the outside of the tent, and they couldn't get out through the front. So, that's what I'm leaning towards, but I can't get past the eyes. How were just the eyes removed? How would a bear just remove the eyes? Just the eyes.
Because, maybe it didn't happen at the exact time that, like, the eyes being removed didn't happen at the exact time that they died. But I was thinking, like, there's no animals that exclude. It's
like they would pass out. How did they? It just makes no sense. It was just a weird, I don't know what the fuck, but
I don't think mountains are like as unexplored as the oceans.
No,
definitely not. Like, I know that, but like I'm saying, like, are there animals in the mountains that we don't know about? I'm sure.
Well, also the other thing I left out was that there was no prints other than theirs. So like that's what ruled out the native tribe that was there. They said it couldn't be them because how could they cover up all their footprints? And also, how could you see their footprints but not the bear paws, right?
Yeah.
And there was like a mountain where they went single file down the hill, so they were like, it could have been like a Russian army experiment where they made them march down there. And I'm probably forgetting a lot of stuff, but it was just it was a weird incident. I mean, you could read the summary on Wikipedia. It might be something I missed, like the quick like.
Let's see. They're in the Devil's Pass, probably. Originally called, it's called the Devil's Pass now. The Dyatlov Pass incident, which was an event. 9 Russian hikers died.
In the northern Ural Mountains between 1st and 2nd February 1959, in uncertain circumstances, the experienced trekking group, who were all from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, had established a camp on the slopes of Kholat Syakhy, in an area now named in honor of the group's leader Igor Dyatlov. During the night, something caused them to cut their way out of their tents. I think there was just one tent, like one large tent, and flee the campsite while inadequately dressed for the heavy snowfall and sub-zero temperatures.
So this is going about like this is more detailed investigation, but then they're saying that Russia opened a new investigation in 2019, and conclusions were presented in 2020 of July 2020, that an avalanche had led to their deaths. Survivors of the avalanche had been forced to suddenly leave their camp in low visibility conditions with inadequate clothing and had died of hypothermia. Andrei Kirikov, deputy head of the regional prosecutor's office, said it was a heroic struggle. There was no panic, but they had no chance to save themselves under the circumstances.
So it could have been an avalanche. Is there?
But there was still. Was it not still prints though? Maybe.
Well, look up the investigation and look up if that's actually true. The go to investigation and contents that they were. Where is because it goes here's journalists reporting on the available parts of the inquest files claim that it states 6 of the group members died of hypothermia and 3 of fatal injuries. There were no indications of other people nearby on Kholat Syakhy, apart from the 9 travelers. The tent had been ripped open from within. The victims had died 6 to 8 hours after their last meal. Traces from the camp showed that all group members left the campsite of their own accord, on foot. Some levels of radiation were found on one of the victims' clothing. So one of them, and some levels. Citation needed. So that might be bullshit, the radiation. But I've heard that a lot. So it's probably, I don't know. To dispel the theory of an attack by the indigenous Mansi people or Mansai.
Some Russian dude.
Vorozdeny stated that the fatal injuries of the 3 bodies could not have been caused by human beings because, quote, because the force of the blows had been too strong and no soft tissue had been damaged.
Avalanche makes sense.
It might have been the avalanche. Did we just solve this? Hell yeah.
I mean, that would make sense because I mean, here, look, this is a
national anthem. Dude, I was about to do the national anthem, and you know what came to mind? The fucking Indiana Jones theme. That should be our new national anthem. Da 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 da
da da da. This is a view of the tent as the rescuers found it on 26th of February of 1959.
Yeah, it could have been an avalanche then.
Well, but then what about from the inside? Was the like closed?
Well, the avalanche could have the snowfall on top of the tent would have caused it maybe to collapse, I think.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it, maybe.
And the cuts and bruises on them could have been just from them, just the wind. Just
the wind. I mean, they were fucking naked, probably, like naked in this condition, you know. But maybe if it was like, but no, snow would break through a tent. You know what I'm saying? If it had weight on it.
What's weird is one of the ladies had her tongue bitten off, or it was like bit off. So it's like. Did she fall out of a tree and try to like climb it to get like firewood or some shit, like dry wood up there, or like what's going on?
Well, I mean,
this makes a lot more sense.
Well, if she got caught in a fucking avalanche, then maybe she was like and like the snow.
Yeah, but this is she was one of the later ones to die. Like they had made a like a burrow, the last 3, and they tried to survive. But that's a good way to put it. It was a heroic. It kind of is like inspirational almost. Like if it was that. It's like, damn, that's like a human being trying their best to survive. That's pretty fucking cool.
It's a fucking like survival situation.
Heck of a fight. If you look, I mean, they all died, but under the circumstances, once you look into what, you know, how the bodies were found and what they did afterwards, so.
Damn. Also, what you're talking about, this was kind of cool. Sorry, that was really hard for me to say. The paradoxical undressing, where it's like, hypothermia can induce a behavior in which hypothermic subjects remove their clothes in response to a perceived. That's not even a word. Perceived feelings of burning warmth. Isn't that? It's kind of like the same with like, well, no, when you have like a cold or like you're sick. And my mom always like, get under the blanket, sweat it out, which but I was really fucking hot because I was just hot. I was burning up.
Well,
like
that's
fever.
your body temperature is literally hot. Theirs is dropped. So they're probably, if you like tested them, I don't know what it would be, but if I mean, what can you survive? Can you have like a 94 degree and survive?
I think so.
Or a 92 or something. Like, can you get out on the night? But that's what I'm saying. The reason they said that wasn't the case was that they didn't die at the same. Like, they died in stages, right? And they showed that some of the bodies had been moved 95. After they died. You can drop as low as 95.
Yeah, hypothermia occurs as your body temperature falls below 95.
So they could be at like 93 degrees body temperature.
But I guess the avalanche, going back to the Dyatlov Pass, the avalanche makes sense for a lot of like everything, right? Except for the tongue biting off and the slashing in the tent, cutting from the inside.
No, the cutting in the inside, that's taken care of by
that makes sense, I guess.
That's they probably couldn't
open the zipper or whatever.
Yeah. But I never thought it was like, because the radiation is what gets you, but it's like,
oh wait, this one's actually
military test. Yeah.
Speculation exists that the campsite fell within the path of a Soviet parachute mine exercise. This theory alleges that the hikers, woken by loud explosions, fled the tent in a shoeless panic and found themselves unable to return for a supply retrieval. After some members froze to death while attempting to endure the bombardment, others commandeered their clothing only to be fatally injured by subsequent parachute mine concussion.
Shelled the fucking forest.
I mean, I don't know.
There were indeed reports of parachute mines being tested by the Soviet military in the area around the time the hikers were there. Parachute mines detonate while still in the air rather than upon striking the Earth's surface and produce signature injuries similar to those experienced by the hikers. Heavy internal damage with comparably less external trauma. The theory coincides with reported sightings of glowing orange orbs floating or falling in the sky within the general vicinity of the hikers and allegedly photographed by them. Oh yeah, that's true. They did. That's what I forgot. They're saying that the film could be just messed up, but there is like an orange thing that could show that they were trying to photograph. But also, I heard that there was some evidence that the Russian did launch some kind of things in that direction. But wouldn't you find like even the atomic bomb, right? The atomic bomb didn't explode when it hit the ground, it exploded over, but it's like it's still gonna leave a crater, right? Wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and also shrapnel and shit. Yeah.
Well, what if it caused the avalanche? What if the explosions caused the avalanche and all the snow that came down from the mountain covered all the craters?
Is this how conspiracy theories start?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's just like unsolved.
I don't know. That is.
There he is, Igor.
This is Igor?
Yeah.
True Russian. I'm gonna look up the tongue thing real quick.
Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, part of the lips, as well as facial tissue and a fragment of skull bone.
Alexander Kolovatov, his eyebrows were missing. All 4 bodies found at the bottom of the creek were found at the bottom of a creek, and a running stream of water had soft tissue damage to their head and face.
Soft tissue. So could they have fallen maybe and fallen off something and cut their faces up?
But also that could have happened after they died.
How were they missing their eyes?
That's weird.
That's the part I don't get. Even if it was a bomb, how the fuck do your eyes just fall out? Or birds? You think a bird pecked them out?
Bird? Oh, that does make sense. That's what I was saying, an animal.
But just the eyes, they wouldn't touch the rest of the body, or was the rest of the body too frozen?
Probably. Or who's to say they didn't? Dubinina's tongue was likely removed by scavengers in ordinary predation.
Predation?
Predation, that's a weird word.
Scavengers?
Well, like crows and shit.
Animal. Okay.
Damn.
I don't think that, because they also said that they said that it happened while she was alive because there was blood in her stomach. But
she could have been just passed out from a head injury.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She could have fallen out of a tree and like bit off her tongue and I don't know why she would be climbing a tree.
I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to find it. It's a needle in a haystack, but maybe on the off chance it could have been lying somewhere.
Her tongue or something?
And ate it, or it's sitting on the ground under 17 feet of snow now.
Man.
Can you imagine that?
That one guy with the joints was lucky. What's his thing? What did he look up joints? That dude.
Joints.
Joint pain. Oh, there it is. One member, Yuri Yudin, who suffered from several health ailments, including rheumatism and a congenital
which I was struggling.
Heart defect, turned back due to knee and joint pain that made him unable to continue the hike. The remaining 9 hikers continued the trek. So, bro survived. There always got to be one survivor.
He's a football player.
Yuri Yudin. That's a cool name. Yuri Yudin. So he's probably not there.
There he is.
Oh, there.
So is this him? Yeah. Hey, my man.
Yeah, he survived. He's like, hey. There's an old picture of him, or not an old. It's a picture of him old, but it's probably he's probably dead now too. But I don't know. Yeah, well, actually, 1959. If he was like 23, he's probably older.
In the shadow of death. That's kind of crazy though.
Yeah. I mean,
avalanche makes the most sense though.
Yeah.
I mean, but the tongue being bitten out, because I mean, if you think about it, foxes, whatever else is gonna come up and eat parts of its body.
How is it so specific, dog? Like, wouldn't they peck the shit out of the body, and like you'd find pecks like on their face? And what if their eyes are closed? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not. I don't know.
We're no experts.
That's as usual. It's gonna be inconclusive for us because we're too. I think it was the avalanche, man. Avalanche with some questionable eye injuries.
Eye injury and the eyes being missing, tongue, lips make sense for like they froze off.
I guess I don't know. Because your fingers can freeze off, right? Or something.
I mean, anything can freeze off.
Well, it'll just turn black.
But the eyes are weird. I don't think the tongue, because if they said that she was still alive when her tongue got taken out or whatever, then it couldn't have frozen off.
Well, because that's happened to a lot of people where they've bitten pieces of their tongue off in half because they fall off a skateboard or a bicycle or some shit.
So many people have like scars on the bottom of this shit because they bite through their lips. It's not hard.
She literally bit her lip off. I don't know how she would have fallen that goddamn hard. She broke her fall with her face, but
she was just so cold that she started jittering.
The Russians, dude, they're hardcore. I don't want to break arm, I use face. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. It is gonna be inconclusive.
It is gonna be inconclusive, dude. It was a Yeti. It was aliens.
Aliens, Yeti, Russian mine. It was everything.
Dude, Yetis and Bigfoot. Dude, we would have found... How many satellites we got up there? We would have found it in a forest by now. Oceans were...
People are out here solving crimes with Google Maps. Like, I know somebody found a car that somebody went missing, and I don't know how long ago, somebody's looking on Google Maps and found a car.
Yeah. We heard a knock in real life, and now we're thinking that we roasted the Dyatlov people too much. If you like that, what do you think? What do you think? It was the Yeti. Everybody's gonna, because of what I just saw and probably what they're saying, all right, guys, we got the scoop. Here's the thing. The Russians dropped fucking pillow bombs or parachute bombs or whatever the fuck.
Parachute mines.
And it caused an avalanche, and then it fell on them, and then a Yeti came And
ate their eyeballs.
Yeah,
and the
ate
tongue.
their ate their eyebrows, their eyeballs, their tongue, and part of their lip, and then he dipped and covered up his tracks behind him.
With another parachute mine
Yeah.
that caused the fucking
And then the Russian military came, sprinkled some radiation, and then they left.
doses.
Peace.